Fella and fellaettes of the Pokemon community, what the frick is poppin'? What is up? It's your man with the plan, the man you gotta stand, Jordan Crouton Moore, coming at you guys live with some more Pokemon Showdown action mastery battles, winning, hopefully. But we are coming at you guys right now, and man, if you watched the last episode of the Pokemon Shield Let's Play, you already know I have a good idea for this episode, and I actually went ahead and made the team pre-4 so we can get a ton of battles in here in this tier. Now, I told you guys in that episode that my least favorite tier in all of Pokemon Showdown right now has to be LC. It's always been LC simply because of the fact that the rolls are absolutely insane. If you think something's gonna kill, good chance it's probably gonna kill. So LC is what we're in today, and man, you already know who it is representing. We got Scorbunny, Jack the man. Man, I have been loving using Jack so far, and we got a super cool set. Let's break this down for you. We got that Choice Band item with the Blaze, because the Libero, unfortunately, is not here yet. We got U-Turn, Sucker Punch, Blaze Kick, and High Jump Kick, because Blaze Kick is probably the best move that we can have on Scorbunny at this point. We're running Max Attack, but we're only running 196 Attack, because at the end of the day, like I said, a lot of these rolls, you don't have to run Max to be able to truthfully unlock the maximum potential of this Pokemon. Special defense, we're running the same amount, and a little bit of defense, 116 with a minus special attack nature, rocking that adamant. And this thing is coming in, hitting hard, and getting out at 15 speed. Next up, we rocking Dreepy. Speaking of Dreepy, we gonna be dropping some Dreepies. High key to my man Pokeaim. Max speed 180 with Life Orb, Draco Meteor, Sucker Punch, Substitute, Infestation, because I didn't know what fourth move to put on this thing. We rockin' 132 attack, 196 special attack, and 180 speed with that nice hasty nature. This thing is going to be hitting like a truck with that Draco Meteor and that Sucker Punch. I'm ready to see this thing work. Then we run in some standard stuff. We got that Onix up in here with that Berry Juice Sturdy. Most effective Stealth Rocker in LC, 100%. You'll never see anything like this. You get the Onix, you knock it down to its sturdy, Berry Juice puts it back up to full, you get Stealth Rocks up, and then you have 2 more full turns, because this thing hits 17 speed. This thing is fast as a mother fricker, man. Then we rockin' Bulbasuar with that Eviolite, we rockin' Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb, Toxic, and Synthesis with the Overgrow ability, because I don't have a Sunsetter on this team. Chlorophyll might be a cool little tech if at the end of the day, Overgrow is not a better move whenever you're playing LC, because, once again, these rolls are absolutely insane. But we're running a pretty bulky Bulbasaur. We got max special defense, max special attack, and a little bit of defense with that Calm Nature. Really just hitting hard and being able to take attacks too with that Eviolite, and maybe getting a Synthesis off, being able to stall out some opponents in that way. Then we run in Choice Specs Wailmer. That's right. Choice Specs Wailmer, you heard me right. With Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, Scald, and Weather Ball. At the end of the day, I didn't know what fourth move to put on this thing, so I put Weather Ball just in case we have like some sun or something like that. That would be kind of cool to look at. But also, we're making things look pretty nice with this Wailmer, because we rocking that Scald and we rocking that Hydro Pump in case we want to go for that Stab Water move that's not going to absolutely break the bank. And then finally, oh yeah, and it's EV Spread, Max Special Attack, of course, with a lot of special defense and a good amount of defense as well with that modest nature. Then finally, we rockin' and rollin' with Volibee, one of the best mons in the entirety of LC, in my opinion. This thing is an absolute menace. And it's going to be rough anytime you try to run across this thing. But right now, with what we're looking at, I'm thinking he's probably going to be pretty good. We rocking that nearly max defense, nearly max special defense with a little bit of speed trickled in there. Of course, we got that max defense, rocking and rolling with it itself. So at the end of the day, man, I think this team is looking kind of nice. I think we got a good thing going here, and I'm very excited to jump straight into this first battle. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. So without further ado, I'm going to pause until I find a game. I'll be right back. All right, ladies and gents, we are back, and this dude's got a really good team. It's very, very standard. It looks like something that I've actually seen before. I would imagine that's probably Coil Sizzlepede, which could be pretty interesting to see. But I would imagine that Onix is going to be very, very much so the Stealth Rocker like I was talking about. I think you could expect me to lead Onix and go something like a Bulbasaur or a Frillish. So I kind of just want to lead with the Onix myself. Now, he leads his Onix we can play this really, really nice and go for the EQ, bring him down to his berry juice, so that way he has to kind of make a play. So I think that's what I'm going to do. We're going to go for that. Bring him down to his berry juice, make him go back up. And he actually goes for the taunt, so that's perfect play for me. Because what we're going to see here is we're going to be able to knock this thing down. It's not going to have berry juice to put it back up. And right here, we have the berry juice, and that's going to do it. We're going to get the Earthquake, and we're going to KO this Onyx before it can even set up the... before it even set up its rocks, which is awesome. So, we win the Onyx exchange right there, in my opinion. We can come back in on something like a Sizzlepede, Bulbasaur. We can come in on pretty much anything on my opponent's team here and pretty much have an easy way. He brings in the Frillish here. I don't feel like staying is my best play. I feel like I need to go something that's going to be able to deal with this, and I think Volibee is the play. He's going to go for the Scald. Unfortunately, he gets the burn. We're just going to go for a knockoff and knock off this thing's item or whatever wants to come in. Hopefully, it's going to be something like the Groudon, which I think, or not Groudon, ooh, if he's got a Groudon, that'd be crazy. Growlithe, that would be a really good play for me. Also, letting Frillish just stay in, I think, is also a good play, but he actually does go the Growlithe here, so we're going to knock off this thing's EV Alliance. That's what I imagine it's probably holding. It is. And I'm just going to go for the Toxic here, because at the end of the day, I don't really know what this thing's going to want to do. He goes for the Sunny Day, which I think is pretty cool. He wants to get in this Bulbasaur, which I think is fine. I'm going to go for the U-turn, though. He goes for the Wild Charge. We tank that, though, and we can kind of go for whatever. So he's sitting at 16 speed, so we can actually come in and get our rocks up, because I feel like rocks are going to be pretty good against this dude. We can go Onyx. He may get scared and switch out, which is what I hope happens. But I think at the same time, he's probably just going to stay in and go for a Flare Blitz or something like that. And we'll see what happens. I mean, there's no way to really predict this stuff. Anything could be a good play, in my opinion, in his part. He goes Farfetch'd here. That's fine. Farfetch'd... We actually outspeed this thing unless it's Scarfed. I don't know what the odds are of this thing being Scarfed, but I'm going to go for the Explosion. It is Scarfed. So he's Scarfed, Farfetch'd into Knockoff, which is fine with me. At the end of the day, man, I honestly feel like my best play is... I feel like it's just to go... Probably Bulbasaur here. I feel like this is a rough play because we don't really know what's going to happen. I'm going to go for the Toxic on the knockoff. I don't think this is going to KO simply because of what it is. He could go the Growlithe here, which I think would be a pretty good play. That's just if he wants to predict, though. I'm going to go for the Toxic, though. We'll see what this dude wants to do. He actually goes Sizzlepede, which is fine. And he's not... Okay, so he's not Heavy Duty Boots, so he's not the set that I thought he was, which is really, really weird. I'm going to go for the Synthesis and see what this thing wants to do. He goes for the Leech Life, which is fine. That brought me down a lot. He did get a crit, though, which is really unfortunate. And I'm going to go for the Wailmer this turn, because I feel like Wailmer comes in and picks up a KO. I know Frillish does get Water Absorb, so we have to be a little bit cautious of that. But I do think it's probably my best play just to go Wailmer. And maybe I kind of want to go Wailmer here, and then double... Ooh, but he actually can stay in here if he's not max speed. I'm going to go for the Scald, just in case. Frillish is at 100%, so it's not like it really matters if he hits it or not, so I can just go for the Scald pretty safely here. He does go for Frillish, which is fine. So he's actually not Water Absorb, which is super, super interesting in my opinion. I don't know why he's not Water Absorb, honestly. Maybe he's running Curse Body? That's an odd choice, but I almost feel like just staying in and going for another Scald. It's going to do a good 17% here. He goes for the Strength Sap. So I don't really know what my play is here. I think Bulbasaur is my play. And going for the Giga Drain. Straight up. Yeah, I think Giga Draining here is my best play. So he goes Growlithe. That's fine with me. And I'm going to just sack Wailmer, because Wailmer really doesn't do anything the rest of this game. Sizzlepede takes a lot of damage the next time he comes in here, as he goes for a Sunny Day just to sack this thing. So what would be really awesome is if he brings in Frillish. He doesn't and brings in Bulbasaur, which is fine. Actually, this is more than fine. I hope he goes for a setup move. That would be my biggest thing. He goes for the Growth. Sweet Weather Ball, picking up a KO. Weather Ball Wailmer, kind of sweet, though. It's kind of a good tech. I didn't think that thing would actually like come in clutch, but it just did, man. This is a hard battle, if not for the weather ball there. I'm gonna let this thing go down here and just see what he wants to go for. If he wants to go for a knockoff, that's perfectly fine with me. I think at the end of the day, I can just go Volibee here and go for a knockoff myself. I don't really see how I beat Farfetch'd, but I think we may live in knockoff, which we do, and we knock off his Choice Scarf, which is awesome. And I feel like my best play now is Dreepy and Dracoing, because, I mean, I'm going to do a lot of damage to this thing by just Dracoing. I think I'm going to do enough damage to the point where I can just click Sucker Punch with Jack and just win the game now. Because, like, I don't think they can do any amount of setup to beat me here. I'm actually just going to go for the Sucker Punch right now and take him down just a little bit and go into Jack here and click on the Sucker Punch here. So he very well could actually just not sack this thing, which would be fine, but he does. And he can bring in the Sizzlepede now. He did, unfortunately, get the Cursed Body. Wait, I thought he said that it got the Cursed Body. Never mind, it didn't. It didn't get the Cursed Body, which means we just take a GG. Let's type that in the chat. GG's to you, my friend. Weatherball Wailmer coming in clutch, man. So no complaints there with me. That was a really fun battle. Let's try to look for another one while I talk about what just went down. That was really awesome, as we actually find one immediately. He's got a very Gen 7 team, but last battle went really, really well. Wailmer caught this dude for real off guard. Caught me off guard too with the Weatherball play. I did not see that happening, but he's got a couple really good mons on this team. I don't really know what he wants to lead. I think he's probably going to lead Diglett, which makes me want to go Bulbasaur and get up my rocks later on in the game, which I do think are very important for the Litten. So I'm actually just going to lead Wailmer as he leads Poplio. So this was pretty much a perfect time for me to be able to get up my rocks, but unfortunately we get the lead wrong. I can just go Bulbasaur though. So he goes for a sub, which I think is a good play. I like this dude's username too, Linguini. He does a good amount with Ice Beam, and he gets the crit freeze. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh man, that sucks a lot. Man, I think I'm just going to go Onyx here and just get him out from behind that sub. Because we outspeed, and I can hit him with an Explode, which I think is just my best play. Like, no rocks versus no Poplio is probably good, because we lost our Poplio answer immediately. We do Explode. It doesn't KO Poplio, which is not good, but we can just go into, I think Dreepy and Sucker Punch is my best play. Although I think both were pretty good plays. He's probably just going to go for the Ice Beam here, but we do KO with the Sucker Punch, which is fine. Losing Onyx and Bulbasaur that early is really bad, but I do think Jack is my win con. He beats several of their team members. Wailmer is also very good in this game, as is Dreepy. I don't really see what exactly Volibee does in this game, but I think there are a couple good places that it can shine here. I'm going to go for the sub and see what this thing wants to do. He actually just goes for a Shell Smash, which is perfectly fine in my opinion, because I get to drop a Draco. And this is going to do a ton of damage to this thing. Yes. Icicle Spear. I forgot about that. I forgot completely about that move. I think we might just lose to this thing right here, which is unfortunate, but I think we just might. Scorbunny comes out here. This thing definitely outspeeds us, but I can go for a Sucker Punch and hope that I do a good amount, and that's unfortunate. And I think we just lose this game. This was a not so good game, man. Really, just losing Bulbasaur that early was just not fun to me. That was rough. That was very rough. And we just take this. I'm not gonna let him get the satisfaction of killing all my Pokemon, and we're just gonna find another game. We're gonna find another one right there. What went wrong in the game? Got the lead wrong, and sometimes in LC you just lose by getting the lead wrong. I was playing on my back foot the whole game. After that, I probably should have gone for a Sucker Punch on the turn that Shelter had, just to get some chip off on it. But at the end of the day, it really didn't matter, and we were going to be stuck in a place no matter what. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pause until we find a game, and I will be right the heck back. All right, welcome back. We got a really fun little team here. It's very, very standard. He's got some big threats on this team, like the Diglett, like the Sandalit, or the Salandit. I don't really remember how to say the Mon's name, but he's got some really good Mons here. Rocks are going to be very crucial in this game, so I'm going to go for the Onyx lead here. I almost want to try to outplay this dude the same way because I feel like he's just going to go for a taunt on me, and we'll be able to do the damage here. He's actually weak armor Onyx, which is cool. He does just go for the stealth rocks here, so that's exactly what I'm going to click. And we get the opportunity to pick up a KO here on their Onyx. We are getting critical hit like nobody's business this episode of Showdown Show Out. That's for sure. We are definitely getting destroyed by these crits. Also, last game, something that went wrong was that first turn crit freeze, because I just feel like we would have done a good amount of damage with the Giga Drain that we could have brought in Dreepy and KO'd with a, with a Draco. So just losing that early on was really unfortunate. I'm just going to go for the explosion as he's obviously just going to kill me, which is fine with me. So here, this is a little bit of a polarizing play because I have a couple things that I could do. I could go Volibee and click Knockoff, which I feel like is probably my best play because I can see a couple of things coming in here, and just getting a Knockoff is going to be huge. So I kind of just want to go for that. He goes for the Covet, which is interesting. He steals my Eviolite, which is fine, and then we just knock it straight off. I don't know what this thing's going to want to go for next, so I almost feel like just going for a Brave Bird, as he goes for the Covet again. We're going to take down Meowth. Unfortunately, we're going to go down 2, but that does mean that one of his threats is definitely gone, and we have our win conditions still alive, very much so. I feel like he could make the play and go Diglett on this play, so I kind of want to go for Wailmer. He actually goes Volibee here, which is perfectly fine, as I can get a Specs Ice Beam off on this thing, which I think is a big threat on my opponent's team. He goes straight for the Brave Bird, which means that we should kill with Ice Beam. We do. So Wailmer picking up another KO, man. If Jack didn't have that great sweep at the beginning of the game, at the beginning of the episode, I might have to give this to Wailmer instead, because he has done a fabulous job so far taking care of some of my opponent's team. But right now, we're looking really nice. Salandit here comes out. This is a little bit of a polarizing play, because I can predict him to go for the poison move and go Bulbasuar, but if he goes for the Fire Lash instead, he does a ton of damage to me. But I feel like the prospect of having Wailmer, well, I mean, Wailmer really doesn't outspeed anything either, which I think is another reason why I could see me sacking it here. So I'm just going to go for the Ice Beam here on the Sludge Wave, which is perfectly fine. I have no idea what this thing is locked into right now, but I feel like Dreepy is my best play because he resists a lot of the moves that he wants to go for. And I'm just going to go for the sub, which we're able to get up, which is awesome. I feel like Sucker Punching is my best play at the moment, as we do a good amount to him, and we hit 18 speed, which is perfectly fine. I'm going to go for the Sucker Punch again here on this play, as he actually goes Oddish, which is fine. I'm going to click the Draco Meteor and almost KO Oddish here. I feel like my best play at this point is to go Scorbunny. And I feel like clicking U-turn is my best play. But I also think this dude realizes that Salandit kind of just destroys my team, although it does take a good amount coming in on rocks here. So he brings in the Salandit here, which is perfectly fine. I'm going to go for the Sludge Bomb here, as he goes for the Flamethrower. That should not kill, which leaves just Diglett in this game. I actually don't know what the calc is for this, but I would imagine we don't have a very good chance to KO here with Sucker Punch, but we kind of just have to go for it and pray. GG to this dude either way, but let's see if Sucker Punch KOs. It does not. It almost picks up the KO, but once again, that could have been a roll because of just how weird. I'm actually curious to see what that roll is here. So if we check Scorbunny, LC all-out attacker, my bad. And we go for the Band, CHO Choice Band here. And it's looking like against, let's see, Sucker Punch here instead of Gunk Shot. Sucker Punch against a Diglett. is actually not a roll. Blaze Kick definitely pretty much every other move like 100% KO'd. But he just had that win con and Earthquake, and we just didn't really have anything that we could have done against it. And if this thing was Focus Sash, he won as well. I think I'm going to go ahead and get just a few more games, then we're going to call it here, because we've been going for about 20 minutes now. So we're going to get a few more games here, and we can call it. We gotten a few wins. We've done some really good stuff. I think there are some definite holes in this team. I feel like the inability to get rid of rocks is one thing that this team really struggles with. But at the same time, I do think that there are some really good things that this team does as well. So I don't think you can count this team out from the very beginning. But at the end of the day, there are some holes in this team, and there are some things that we can try to fix. But I do feel like this thing has a pretty good showing. So let's take a look at this guy's team. He's got a really, really cool team. I actually feel like I've gone against this dude before. I did a kind of LC to OU type thing that I saw from Patty Trills and Joey Pokeaim, and I think I win against this exact team. But this team's really fun. Galarian Ponyta is such a polarizing mon because it could have been so much better, but it's just not. Mantike, we really don't have a good way to take this thing down. I mean, that is just a huge weakness to our team. And I think that they can kind of see that. I'm going to go Volibee here, and he actually leads Growlithe, which is fine. I feel like just going for the Toxic is completely worth it on this turn. I feel like he could go for the Wild Charge, actually. I'm actually going to predict the Wild Charge and go Onix. I'm going to stun on this dude on the first turn, and we'll see how this pays off. It could not pay off, but I feel like it could. He actually predicts that and goes for the CC, which I think is a very interesting play. But we can KO this thing pretty much, or we can get up rocks. I think both of them are very, very good in this game. I'm actually going to get up rocks as he goes Mantike, which is perfectly fine. I honestly feel like just Rock Blasting here, as this is going to do a good amount of damage, and we hit 3 times in KO. So look at that. You can see right there. I don't know if you guys can see after I get done editing this. We'll have to take a look, but the roll there was min 33, and then the next one did 50%. So, like, there's just a huge difference in these two. I'm going to go for the Earthquake on this turn. He goes for the Sucker, which is perfectly fine with me. And we pick up the KO on the Diglett. So, Diglett and Mantike are both done for, which I think is really huge. We've played this so far so really well with our Onix. I think him switching out the Growlithe that first turn was the worst choice that he could have made, because I was just going to bluff and go for the Stealth Rocks every single time. He goes for Ponyta here. I'm going to go for the Explosion. This thing is not going to do a lot of damage to us, and we just flat out pick up the KO. And at this point, he's only got his Fire, Water, Grass core left, which ultimately is not a bad core at all, but he's going to go Growlithe here, and I want to bluff the fact that he even has Wild Charge now, and I'm going to go for the knockoff. He does not. He just goes for the close combat, and that's perfectly fine. He goes down to what would be his Sash, essentially. And he was actually Scarf Growlithe, too, which is an interesting tech, not going to lie. At 16 speed, you normally wouldn't want to run a Scarf on that kind of a mon. I would run, like, Scarf Ponyta, maybe. As he actually forfeits. So there we go. We absolutely destroyed him that game. We made some good reads, and it was just, it was a fun game. Like, I can't complain about that at all. I feel like we did pretty much everything right that we needed to, and I feel like we got a win because of it. So at the end of the day, I feel like that was a pretty good game from us. I think we're going to go ahead and get one more game, and then I think I'm going to call it for this episode. But yeah, this team's really, really fun. If you want to use it, don't forget it's down in the description. And while you're down there checking out the team, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment. Tell me some good news that you've got in the last week, because right now in this quarantine, it's all about the bad news. I want to hear some good stuff. I want to hear the good things that are happening in y'all's lives. I got some good news the other day that our church is going to be starting to meet on June 7th. I get to come and run sound for that, so that's going to be a really awesome opportunity. And I also got the good news that the NBA is looking to come back at the end of July. And you already know me. I'm a huge NBA supporter. I guess you guys don't really know me yet. Well, I'm a huge NBA fan, huge fan of the Memphis Grizzlies. I absolutely love them. I've gone to a ton of games. I've been to a ton of playoff games with the Memphis Grizzlies. Grit and grind forever, baby. And absolutely love sports of all kinds. So if you guys have anything that you want to add to those sports things, man, just let me know, because I can talk for hours about sports. Hit me up with an email, hit me up with a DM on Instagram or Twitter, crouton_ASU. But be sure that you go and do that, because, man, I straight up love some sports. But real quick, guys, we're going to pause until we can find another game, and I'll be back in just a second. Alright, so we are back. This dude's got a really cool team. I really like the Munchlax. I really like Natu. I think he's a cool mon. Rock and Roll is an interesting rock setter for sure, but I think it's got some really good promise in it. Honestly, I think rocks are going to be huge in this game, so I like leading Onix here. If he leads Natu, because I know that thing does get Magic Bounce, I can really just go, for the Rock Blast. We'll see what he wants to lead here. He leads Munchlax, which is perfectly fine. I'm going to go for the Rock Blast. I wanted to predict, but the Stealth Rock is going to do just fine here, as he's going to go for the Curse, which I think is not anything that I need to worry about, because I have things that can touch him. So I have special attackers that can touch him. I have all kinds of stuff that I can do against this thing. So I'm just going to go for the rocks. As he goes for another curse, which is fine. He's just dropping his speed lower and lower, and he's not even going to be able to KO me in one shot. So I think at the end of the day, it's just my best opportunity just to go for the EQs, as we're doing 30% still, even to this thing. And he hasn't even knocked me down to my Berry Juice once, so we're still looking really good in this game. As we pick up a KO with the next one, so he actually just goes for the rest, which I think is fine. I'm gonna go for the EQ here. So he's got rest and curse, obviously, and he's just taking sleep. So he's not even running sleep talk plus an attack, which I think I would definitely run with a rest mon. I don't really know what this thing wants to do necessarily. Perfectly fine if it wants to sleep again. We actually get a crit right there, so it doesn't even matter. That's kind of what I was going for anyway, was for the crit. So he brings in Wailmer here. Honestly, this thing isn't too bad, but I feel like just going for a Earthquake here and bringing this thing pretty low and just going for another Earthquake, because, I mean, once again, this thing's just going to be able to go down. I think actually Rock Blasting is my better play, because we're going to hit 3 times guaranteed, and if he went Natu, that caught that thing off guard as well. Excuse me, had to get me some water. Be sure to hydrate. Hydrate, boys, hydrate. Hydrate or dihydrate, as some of my friends used to say back in the day. Nah, this dude's team is actually really good. I like the concept behind his team, but I don't think it functions very well. I think there are some really good things that he could have done, but I do not feel like resting on Munchlax without having Sleep Talk was your best play, especially in LC, where it's going to do so much even if you get to +4. I mean, we're looking at probably 17% from my Onix's Earthquake, even if he gets max to +6 defense. We're looking at 17, 15 at the least, in my opinion, that we're doing with an Earthquake. And after 3 turns, that's 45 damage coming from Earthquake, so that's almost half your health, even if you're +6. So at the end of the day, I think you have to run a Sleep Talk kind of thing with your Munchlax instead of just letting it inevitably getting crit. I think this dude may have left straight up, which is perfectly fine, because I feel like we did our job in this game. I feel like we did everything that we needed to. I feel like we got the crit that we needed to get. I feel like this thing was not expecting me to have the Berry Juice, which I think is really weird, because I feel like that's what most Onixes run, period. But I do think that this guy gave up, so I think, you know what that means, right? You know what giving up means. It's a win. It's a win, boys, if he gives up. Now, just to look at the rest of his team, he kind of does just get 6-0'd by Jack coming in and pressing high jump kick. I mean, it KOs Rock and Roll, it KOs Cottony eventually. Growlithe can't really touch me, but since this is a forfeit win, I am going to go ahead and find another game, because I feel like that's just injustice to end this on a on a forfeit, which is going to be really sad if we lose the next match, because the next one's going to have to be our finale anyway. But at the end of the day, I'm just trying to get Jack some showtime. So as this timer rolls down to 10 seconds, you can see Onyx, man, the full-on beast. I brought this thing in first, and it didn't come out until he forfeited, man. So Onyx picking up some crucial KOs, picking up that fun. So I'll be right back when we find our final match. Oh my goodness, boys, this dude's team, we about to get smoked. Like, high-key, he got a Jack of his own. If that thing sweeps me, I'm gonna count that as a Scorbunny video, too. Nah, but this dude's got a really cool team. I feel like I have to get up rocks here, just because they're so good against this dude's team. I mean, Galarian, Darmanitan, all kinds of stuff here. He goes for the Sleep Powder and misses, which is very unfortunate, but at the end of the day, we did get up rocks anyways. We get the Sturdy activated here, and I can go for this. He goes for the Giga Drain, which is fine. I'm just going to explode, and we're going to take this thing down to about 50%. He goes for the Sleep Powder, which is perfectly fine. I get to go Jack here, I feel, and just click Blaze Kick, man. Like, what does this thing have for a Blaze Kick? Honestly, I don't really see anything. So I'm going to go for it. And Jack can pick up a KO here if he wants to. He actually brings in Why Not, which is fine. And we're doing 79% to him. So at the end of the day, we might KO. We might KO. We don't. And he goes for Destiny Bomb. He gets hurt by his... But so there we go. Jack picks up a KO. Look at that. Getting hurt by that Bond. Going for the Destiny Bomb. I don't really know why he would have gone for that there. That's an interesting play. I don't think he would have won that speed tie, period. As he brings in Volibee here, I'm going to keep Jack because he helps with the Oddish a little bit later, because that thing's a little bit of an issue for this team without Jack. So Volibee here, this is an interesting play because I don't know exactly what I want to go for. I'm going to go into my own Volibee, I think, and I'm just going to go for the knockoff here. I feel like that's my best play. As he goes into Galarian Darumaka, which is perfectly fine. As he gets hit by the stones and he brings this thing in, and he forfeits. There we go. That's 2 forfeit wins in a row, and you know what? That's the second one. Jack put in some work. Volibee put in some work. Everybody put in some work. I do think that Jack did earn the thumbnail over Wailmer, although Wailmer did have a pretty good showing. Maybe I'll give it to him joint. Nah, I'm just going to give it to Jack, but I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, be sure to go down into the lower parts of this video and click that like button, click that subscribe button while you're at it, click that bell so you know where I'm going when I'm uploading, and be on the lookout for a video tonight at about 5 o'clock p.m. It's going to be the first episode of Road to Master Ball tier. It's going to be awesome. I know I'm going to enjoy recording, and I know you guys are going to enjoy watching it, so be sure to be on the lookout for that. Without further ado, it's the man, the myth, the legend, Jordan Cruton Moore, signing off. Peace.